Okay, so I've been waiting to do this for a little while because I just wanted to know if it was going to work before I went and told other people how to do it. So a lot of stuff that you see with bait tanks, they always say that you have to have a bigger capacity or that you have to have the water cold. And from what I've seen, those two things are not as important as water cleanliness, i.e. how well it's filtrated, aeration, and something I've tried with this one and it's working really, really well for me, circulation. Let me show you what I've done. So this is an old cattle trough that I stole, well, didn't steal, got it off my cousin. It was 150 gallon. The top was broke off of it, so I cut off the top third. This typically has 3 rings. So I'm assuming that I'm running somewhere around 75 to 100 gallons of water. I've never measured it. Don't feel like measuring it out. Could probably look it up, but all intents and purposes it's somewhere around 75 to 100 gallons. What I've got on it is a 2,600 gallon per hour pond pump. Here in the middle, it's going to be hard to see it. I could turn off the aerator, but I don't want to do that. It's right here. What it does is it shoots the water up through this pipe into my filter box. Inside my filter box, i.e. an old repurposed cat litter box, I have a sprayer bar. Underneath the sprayer bar is, I think it's 3 or 4 different layers of filter media. I don't really think it's like critical that you use a certain kind of stuff. This is the stuff I've got. I don't know if the blue and the white are different densities. I don't think they are. I just wanted something to take out the solid particulates. Then underneath that I have these. They call them bio balls. It's so that you can create a biofilter and it has a place for the natural bacteria to cling. And that does multiple things. I can't tell you what all they are because I don't remember. One of them is that it has a beneficial bacteria that takes the ammonia, I believe, out of it. And then that helps scrub your water. Below that is this cross piece here. That is just perforated with a whole bunch of holes on that pipe. And all that allows is all this water to flow into that pipe, and then it goes into these 2 segments. So what I did with this system is I wanted circulation. So my intake is in the middle, and my 2 outputs on the sides. So it shoves clean water to the side, cycles the dirty water to the center, it goes up into the filter, and it starts all over. This is something else I've learned, is that bluegill need somewhere to hide. They'll be much more chill and relaxed. See how spazzy they are now? They're all huddled back here underneath this cover. Give your bluegill something to hide under. This is just a piece of foam anti-fatigue mat. And it floats. It's easy to move. And if you look, they're already chill. That is a big help to keep your bluegill from stressing out and they start fighting each other. They get kind of, I guess, territorial, and they'll rip their fins off, and it's just a higher stress situation. With this system, I've kept 20 at one time on this one side of this tank, and I had them for 2 months. They never pecked at each other's fins. I lost 1 fish that entire time, and that was the only crappie that I put in there, and they all picked on the crappie. there is a species territorial deal there. As a trial, I also have, which he just came up and he'll probably hide now. I have one single white perch, also known as a freshwater drum. There he is. A lot of things I've been seeing said that you can't keep them in your bait tank, so I thought this would be a great test for my bait tank. These fish have all been in here for 24 hours. I put 25 bluegill on the bluegill side and that white perch on the other side. And this is 24 hours later. Typically, if I lose bait, it'll be within that time frame. Everybody is sassy and happy, and they're doing great. So that's awesome. Here's something, a kicker that I didn't think was possible. My water temp is in the upper 80s. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. That's close to 88 degrees. Everybody said that you had to have your water down like 40 or, cold. I don't think that has a thing to do with it. Now, colder water does support more oxygen, yes. But from what I was seeing in my research, the difference between how much parts per million that 40-degree water held and 90-degree water held wasn't a substantial difference. Filtration, keeping the water clean, cycling that water, and aerated is way more important. I also have treated the water with better bait. If you're not familiar with it, one of my favorite YouTubers, Spencer Bauer of River Certified, has called that minnow meth, and I believe it. It does help a lot. There's salts and all kinds of chemistry stuff that somebody else could tell you, but all I know is it works. If it's good enough for Spencer, it's good enough for me. I'm a big believer in that. It also takes the chlorine out of the water. That being said, I use tap water right out of the faucet, right out of that hose coming out of the main line, right from the meter. No water softener, no nothing. All you gotta do is put in better bait, and that stuff works good. Keeps your fish happy, frisky, and lively. Remember, aeration, filtration, and if you can do it, circulation. Have your filter intake on one side or in the middle and have your outputs flow into it. I wanted a two-sided tank. So like I can take this little floating basket, put it over here, and I can keep crappie minnows and I can keep bait. So like that freshwater drum, he should not be that frisky. That's going to be a really interesting test to see how those do for catfish bait. If you've used them, let me know. Do I need to catch more? If not, I've got 25, actually I've got 26 over here that are just waiting. So far this system has worked great. That pump is a 2,600 gallon pump. That was $45 on Amazon. I've got a little bit of PVC pipe invested. You don't have to buy a freezer and then put a 400 gallon pump in it and still have problems. You can do this with very little stuff, cheap. You don't need a freezer, and this thing's working great. I've kept crappie minnows for 4 months until I used them all. I bought a whole pound and then just used them as I needed them. I always had them. So yeah. Got any questions? Hit me up in the comments. I sure appreciate you watching. See you next time. Don't forget, hit subscribe. There'll be more of this.